Welcome back to another episode of Road to Show. We are officially 3 weeks out as of today, which is just absolutely insane to be saying. I feel like this entire prep has just slowly but kind of quickly flown by. So in terms of the bodybuilding show and everything coming up, it's definitely starting to feel more real. So I do have an Airbnb booked. I have my tan booked. I got my NPC card, so I'm able to compete on stage. I registered for the classes that I'm going to be doing, which are True Novice, Classic, and then Open Classic as well, so 3 classes. So between all of that stuff and like actually having it officially booked, it's definitely like a moment of it's starting to feel more and more real by the day. And I'm definitely getting more and more excited as the days pass, so we're getting there. We're this close. In terms of nationals, I don't think we're going this year just because there are some body parts on me that lack majorly, more so my biceps and my hams. I went from powerlifting straight to a bodybuilding prep, so I've had no time to like actually grow certain muscles that I need to. I think our goal is, and our plan is, we're gonna do this show on December 2nd, see how we do, and then we're gonna do a year off season, and then we're gonna aim to compete at nationals next year. So I think a year of actually bodybuilding with an actual proper off season is gonna blow my physique up and should and hopefully would have a better placing overall. So, but in terms of how we are feeling mentally, besides the stuff that is going on within my life right now, I would say mentally, I'm in a really good spot. Physically, it's kind of like hit or miss. Some days I wake up and I'm like, damn, I feel like I got hit by a semi truck and my like mind and body are just completely gone. They're tired and exhausted. There's some days where I wake up, I'm like, go, go, go. I'm ready to jump out of bed. I'm ready to get going, do the stuff that I need to throughout the day. And I feel amazing. So prep is one of those like interesting things where the day, it's just like a roller coaster of days. And I will say, for being 3 weeks out, my energy is not the extent that I thought it would. Like I thought it would be significantly more depleted and worse than it is. Same also with like my hunger. My body is finally adjusted to the food that we are at. So hunger is not absolutely killing me. Which in terms of check-ins, we had check-ins this morning. We have a new low. It was 207.8. I want to say, which puts me down like 1.4 pounds from last week because I weighed in, I think, around 210.2 last week. So we're down almost a pound and a half. 207 is like the lightest I've been in a very long time. So we're definitely getting down there in body weight in general and just my overall physique. Oh, I forgot, I was going to show you guys this. So this company, what are they called? Worth It Candy. They sent me this gum and it's like their new sugar-free versions of their gum. There's blueberry and there's lemon. I've not tried these yet, so we're gonna try them together, see what I think of them, and I'm gonna be honest whether I think they're good or not. They sent me the packs, but they're not paying me to review them or anything, so it's gonna be a very genuine review based off of them. We'll start off with lemon. I went ahead and took the wrapper off. I haven't even opened them yet, but it's a sugar-free version of the gum, 5 calories per stick. All right, we'll see what the lemon is. Oh, okay. Right off the bat, it's hard. You know what? That is a really good lemon gum. Usually I'm a whore for lemon, very big on it and very particular about it. I think this is insane. It kind of tastes like a lemon head in a way. I don't know, it's really good. Try the blueberry. I don't know, I think I would like the lemon more than the blueberry. Oh. Wow. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that is also really good. Both of these are like, they're better than I thought they were gonna be. They're both very sweet. Wow, I'm kind of blown away by these. If these sucked, I was gonna tell you guys and I wasn't gonna recommend getting them or looking at them, but if you like gum, maybe you're in prep, maybe you wanna help curb some cravings, both of these are really good options. Apparently they are available on November 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys wanna go get some, by all means, like I said, it's not sponsored, they just ended up sending me some to try them. These are good. These are dangerous. I'm gonna need to hide these for the rest of prep. I'm gonna be chewing on the whole pack. I can't do that. That blew me away. Okay, so diving into the title of this video and the main portion of the video as to understanding why. Probably my most frequently asked questions are, why did you hop on a cycle? What are you taking? And what are the pros and cons that you've noticed from taking each of these things? So, I mean, that's what we're gonna go over. I do wanna go ahead and preface, I am not promoting, I am not glorifying, I am not supporting or encouraging the use of exogenous hormones. This is me just being incredibly transparent and open and honest with you guys, because I never wanna sell a false or a fake image. There's a good amount of people on the internet as it is that do that to make a lot of money. They sell a false image, and I think it's really shitty to do. So diving into the first part as to why I chose to hop on a cycle. A year ago, around this time, I was powerlifting, and then back in February, I really got into bodybuilding, and then I dove into a prep. And throughout this entire prep and the bodybuilding process, I've just fallen in love with the sport. I genuinely do love it with such a burning passion. And because of that, it was a decision that I came to myself and made for myself, that I want to pursue bodybuilding at a higher level. I want to go on to achieve a pro card. I would love to get a pro card and then step up on a pro stage and compete on a pro stage. And then from there, we'll kind of just see what's in hand for me, whether it's an even further level, maybe the Olympia one day, I don't know, that would be sick, or a pro stage is as far as I will go. Going to take it year by year and kind of see how far we end up going down this path with the sport. But that is why I chose to hop on. I'm aware of the possible health risks, short-term and long-term. And I'd be lying if I said that they didn't worry me. If you're a bodybuilder and you're on cycles and you're doing all this stuff and you say that the health risks don't worry you, I think you're lying. I mean, there's so many possible health risks, but I just know that the only stuff that we can do is make sure that cycles are being done properly in terms of dosage, what's being ran, and just monitoring my health before, during, and after the entire thing. So that is that. Now diving into what I am on, I'm not gonna say the dosages because I don't ever want somebody to be like, oh, he's taking this and this much, let me try to replicate it to try to look like him. So what I am on is testosterone, Clen, Masteron, Adex, Winstrol, and Tren. One I never thought that I would touch, but here we are. Now diving into the side effects that I've noticed off of everything, pros and cons. We're gonna start off with testosterone. The only con that I noticed with testosterone is my estrogen was through the roof. And I believe the way that that works is if you have too much testosterone without like an estrogen blocker, a lot of that testosterone can be converted into estrogen, resulting in higher estrogen levels, which you could develop gyno. That's another worry that I had. It's where you basically get man boobs. But with that, I just became extremely emotional everything. Like certain things that never would have affected me before, I had like an emotional reaction to, more so of just like feeling more sad towards things or crying more towards things. It's a very different experience, but that was really only the negative side effect. I started to get some acne whenever I started, but that ended up subsiding and going away. Pro-wise, I mean, all around, more motivation, more driven, better mental state, more mental clarity, better recovery, more muscle mass. Cheat meals were utilized better, better sleep, better training sessions. Off of test, you kind of get pumps like that. Like I could go into the gym with nothing in my system besides just a meal. I don't need any pre-workout or pumps or anything, and you're gonna get a pump. That's all the stuff that I can think of off the top of my head, but it's more so just like the way you feel mentally is you just feel elevated. That's like the best way I can describe it. But moving on to the next thing that I had added in, which was the Arimidex. Now the Arimidex is an estrogen blocker. It's to help regulate the estrogen levels from the testosterone shooting them up. I don't really notice, any pros besides it regulating my estrogen and just making me feel normal again. The only negative that I noticed from it is that with Adex, some of them can be misdosed. So you don't know exactly, like if you go to a certain amount, you don't know if that's the exact amount that you're getting. So we were taking too much. And if you have too much of an estrogen blocker and you don't have estrogen in your system, you can have certain issues. And I developed those certain issues that no man wants to experience, is what I will say. In simple terms, ED is the only negative side effect that I noticed from it. But we fixed the dosing, and then that went away. It was no longer an issue. Moving on to the next thing, in Masteron. I honestly have no negative side effects that I've noticed from Masteron. It's just pros. Again, Masteron is kind of like Test, where it's an androgenic inducing compound. So increased muscle mass, better recovery, better lifts, stuff like that. So whenever it comes out of the Masteron, I've had nothing but a positive experience with it. And then moving on to the Winstrol. Again, Winstrol, I've had no negative side effects. I would say those three kind of have like a lot of the same pros, very little to no cons that I have experienced. Again, this is all my experience. There are some people that take this stuff and you could have hair loss. You could have you could completely damage your liver. You could get terrible acne all over your shoulders and your back, and they could turn into scarring. You'd have a lot of hormonal issues. Again, this is all my experience and all the ways it has affected me personally. So moving on to Clen. Clen is a fat burner. The only negative that I did notice off of Clen whenever I was taking it for the first week or two, I was incredibly just like shaky. I did feel like I had Parkinson's. I was just incredibly shaky all day long for like a week or two, and I hated that. That was like my least favorite thing that I experienced. It eventually subsided. So that was like the biggest negative that I realized from the Clen. The only other reaction I have noticed off of the Clen is that whenever I take it and do my cardio, I'm not gonna lie, like you feel really good. I don't know how to describe it besides you feel really good, like mentally. You just feel very mentally like open and clear, and it's I don't know how to describe the experience, but besides just saying you feel good. Now moving on to the final one, Tren. This is something I never thought that I would touch, but we ended up touching it anyways, and I'm only gonna say that I'm glad that I did it so I understand, you know, like how I react and how it makes me feel. I will start off by saying I hate Tren. I do not like it. After this prep, I genuinely don't ever want to touch it again. If you don't know, Tren, I guess, would be considered like the hardest compound in bodybuilding. I'm almost 100% certain it is the only steroid that passes through your blood-brain barrier. So therefore, based off of that, I would assume that it is the only one that can really alter your brain chemically in the way that you think and everything. So I'll start off with more so of like, I guess the positives that I have noticed off of it, which is increased strength, increased muscle mass, a lot of the same androgenic responses from the test, the Master on the Winstrol. But the more so thing that I noticed off of it was my strength just kind of shot up, and 3 weeks out, my strength is literally, it's all maintained. I'm either doing like the same weights or like going up in weight, which is good being this close to show, because then my muscle mass is going to maintain or at least build up as we're getting closer to show rather than possibly decreasing. So getting into the negatives, my personal experience is whenever I first started taking it, my anxiety shot through the roof. It was really bad. Like I was just anxious all day long and I hated it. I hate feeling anxiety and I hate feeling anxious like that. So that ended up subsiding. But now getting into more so the other stuff that I've experienced that really makes me hate it is I noticed I'm a little bit more impatient. Like I don't get snappy or yell or get mad. I'm just a little bit more impatient towards things. And then the really like shitty part of Tren that I've experienced is insomnia. So the inability to sleep, night sweats. Some nights I wake up 3-4 times where I'm just doused in sweat and it's just nothing but a puddle, and it's disgusting. Like you get up out of bed and you lay back down in this like cold, wet puddle in your sheets, and it's so gross. And I hate that feeling. And then really the last one is just like, I have experienced very vivid dreams, which is fine when it's a dream, but then it's the nightmares. The nightmares are extremely vivid and I genuinely hate it. I had a nightmare the other night where it was so vivid. I literally like shot up out of bed, like yelling, and I like, looked around the room and I lay back down, my head hit the pillow, and I was just like, fuck Tren, dude, I hate this. Someone who also has talked about how they genuinely like despise Tren is Sebum. He said in a podcast, and he was like, he said that he has taken Tren before and he hated it, and he honestly is never gonna touch it again. And now experiencing it, I understand why. I'm never touching this shit again. I don't ever want to touch it again. I hate it. I do not enjoy it. But hopefully that answers a lot of your guys' questions and also gives you like an understanding as to why I chose to hop on or what I'm taking and how I have experienced each one of these PEDs. This is meant to serve as like an educational part. So don't go out there touching this stuff. So that's all I will say. Also, being on steroids is not a cheat code. It does not make things just incredibly magically easy and you just blow up off of it. A lot of people tend to think that that's the case and that it's cheating. I think honestly, it is extremely easier being natural in terms of just like regulating your health and your blood work, and you're not having to spend extra money on the exogenous hormones and the whole process of doing them is. Anyways, but that's gonna wrap this one up here. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys next week for 2 weeks out. We're getting extremely close to the show, so I'll see you guys then.